Well, hello. Hey, ladies.
Hey,
Hey,
Hi.
hey,
Maddie.
Maddie.
Oh, you blurred out. Okay, so yeah, this is real live and in person here. So by the time you all hear this episode, Heartbeats, Maddie would have attended a STEM Academy. So she's joining us today to hang out with us for a little bit to talk about episode 43,
Yeah.
Real Parent Child Connections with Maddie. Love it, love it. And wish
Hey.
y'all could see this video.
Congratulations,
Look how
Maddie.
she's looking at me. Yeah, so good to see you, ladies. And yes, forgive my hoarseness. So we're recording this at the end of June, and before the STEM Academy, we decided to get some fun in. Fun, i.e., Hershey Park. I screamed my head off. Maddie, you want to talk about that just briefly?
She was screaming even on the little baby ride we went on.
Ah!
Not
The baby ride.
So you all were at an amusement park.
We were at Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was fabulous.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. My first real time being out among a lot of people. So it was good. I mean, it was good. I think they were very organized. We had a great time, did some games, had some fun, and I screamed my head off. So Maddie said my voice is better today. So we shall see. But we are so happy to be here with you, ladies.
Yes.
And it's great to see y'all. For those listening to us, you know where to find us, and we'll recap at the end where to find us also. So so this episode, we had planned this, a while ago, ladies. We started talking about, how we're all moms, and then how, our moms and our mothers and everybody else's mamas. So we started talking about friendship and being friends with our kids. Is there a way to gain that friendship and still maintain that respect as a parent? And I think those are that's a nutshell right there. Yeah. But having that kind of and I saw Maddie, I saw you look at me, and having all of that kind of wrapped into one, and what that looks like. So from your perspective, ladies, and either one could go first, Jeanette or Shauna, what are your thoughts around that? Jeanette.
Go ahead, Shauna.
Thank you.
Because you have the oldest child of all of us. I mean, mine's not far behind, but
yes,
I do. I have a man in my life. He just turned 32 years old. And that being friends with your child, for us, it naturally happened when he was younger. We were very fond of each other, respected each other, loved each other, and we also appreciated being connected with each other. Like, he was always proud that I was his mom. I was always proud that he was my child. And I think that the early beginnings, that's how you can start building a relationship that's you already have it, a natural bond because you're their mom or their dads, whoever's listening to the podcast. You already have that natural bond with them. But then you can take it a step further, and as they grow and they're able to understand how the relationship can evolve, or the parent understands how the relationship can evolve, because my background is early childhood specialist of over 25 plus years, and I worked with a lot of families, and many families don't understand that there is a way to do it without the friendship part overpowering the maternal instincts that you have as a parent. So it's a fine line. I don't believe that it's not impossible for everyone, but I do believe that both parties have to actively seek that new type of relationship and bond, and respect and non-negotiables, and understand the boundaries, and all of those things happen over time with your child as you're growing. So now, with my son being 32, when we hang out, it's nice. It's mutual respect from adult to adult. But it didn't happen just because he turned into an adult. It happened when he was Maddie's age or younger than that. So that's been my experience.
And so, Shauna, you and Lynda both have sons, and I have my stepsons. But our relationship is a little different because I didn't birth them, right? So we have a closeness and a bond based on our relationship dynamics. But I feel like as a mom with boys, and Lynda, you have both, right? So can you talk to the difference in building those relationships with a daughter versus a son?
Maddie's laughing already. Uh-oh. Look, are you laughing at someone's spot? So Miles and Maddie, it's a 7-year age difference between the two of them. So I had a lot of time with Miles and just bonding with him, and him raising him, growing up with him. He was kind of like my quiet child. So, and I remember something my sister-in-law gave some really good advice, to meet your kids where they are. And I'm very like dynamic, outgoing. Miles is kind of quiet, but I think building with him and growing with him sort of helped with that. And when we looked at him and we said, wow, his interest is in sports, of course, I immediately became a sports mom. So that bond right there in itself, it was football first and then, basketball after that. He also did a little stint of baseball too, which was kind of interesting. Have to tell that story one day. But that bond there and just his personality being very, just that humbleness about him sort of like made us very, very close. Maddie, who's sitting right here with us, she's my try everything child. Like, she will try it. If it's football, basketball, cheerleading, she's done it all. And we just have had this sort of closeness. Okay, the air conditioner just turned on, yay. So we just had this sort of closeness, and her being a girl, I think, we share things as, as ladies, as young women. I can share that insight with her. And just building that friendship, and that has happened just over time. And she has just been really, Maddie she's just my girl, And just like if I had Miles sitting here on the other hand, if you're watching this, I'll be hugging him too, say that's my boy, that's my guy. But they also know that I'm their mom too, and I'm like, okay, got to put the hammer down. What I say goes. And that's just what's going to happen sometimes. But we built that openness where they can come to me, with anything, for anything. And I really appreciate, and I think that respect goes always through the three of us, I guess.
Definitely. So for me, with my oldest, Navon, I think our friendship developed early because I was so young when I had her, right? I was 17 when I had her. And so my relationship and dynamics with her is totally different than like with my younger kids. I still highly believe that when they get older, we'll still have a friendship bond, unique to each kid's personalities. But I know like right now at the age she is, like when she went off to college, I was like, dang, who am I going to like do Target runs? And if I want to like go somewhere like late at night, like just like, oh, let me run to Walmart real quick. Like, who am I going to grab to go? And like, she was my person because we did everything together. We came up together. And I think for me, a lot of it, building that relationship, like you ladies both said, meeting your kids where they are. And mine was just transparency and not just telling her like, because I said so, or you just don't do it. Don't ask, if you do something and that they do something they shouldn't do, like kind of like I was told, well, don't do it again. And I'm like, well, that really doesn't work. Like, can you talk to me a little bit more about the why behind that? I'm that person. And so I've always been really transparent with my kids, especially Navon, at an age appropriate level. And I think she appreciated being seen and heard as a person, not just as a kid, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times we dismiss our children as if they don't have valid points of views and that they aren't experiencing and going through different things emotionally. So just being transparent with her and being able to talk to her, even to the point where her own friends was like, oh my God, you told your mom that? And she was like, yeah, of course I told my mom that. Why wouldn't I? So then it was like, well, can I talk to your mom? And, becoming that friend for her friends too. So I think that is the biggest piece for me that I always strive for with all my kids, is just being completely transparent and honest with them, even if it hurts, but just being completely transparent with them.
Yeah, I like that, Jeanette. I mean, I think when coming up, at least for me, we used to hear, children are seen and not heard. So it was like, okay, you don't talk, you don't say anything, you don't come into a room. So you kind of have that scared mentality. Should I tell my mom this? Is this going to be okay for me to talk to her about, or my dad or whomever? I definitely didn't want that, for Miles and Maddie. I want them to be able to come to me and talk to me and tell me things. And I think that was, has always been super important.
The one thing that bothered me growing up, Lynda, it's funny that you mentioned that. slogan that used to be thrown around for the parents back in the day. The other one that really got me was do as I say, not as I do. And the first thing that you learn in the early childhood field is modeling is the best teacher. It's the best behavior you can teach your children. But yet and still, they have this mindset, and some people still do today. I'm the adult, I'm the parent. Yes, of course, you can do things differently that children should not be doing. But when it comes to like character building and things of that nature, I would hope that those are the things that you are doing, that's you are imparting into your child, because they are watching you.
Definitely 100%. And even like, I know it's so funny, like talking to my mom about my grandmother, and like, so my grandma had 12 children. One was stillborn, but she ended up with 11, children that she raised, and 10 girls, right? One boy. And my mom, I remember when my mom told me the story about when my mom was born, how a lot of her siblings didn't even know my grandmother was pregnant. And they was like, where's mama? And somebody was like, oh, she's down at the hospital about to have a baby. They was like, a baby? She's pregnant? Like, my grandma did not believe that your children should know that you were pregnant. They shouldn't my kids, my whole pregnancy, they would touch my stomach. They talked to the baby. They hugged me. And I think it was some old, I don't know, passed down generational thing where you just didn't let your kids know these types of things. And it's just like, how do they prepare themselves for when they go through this, right? You have 10 girls. Like, I just don't, it's just so, I don't know, it's so odd to me. I love my grandmother. She was an amazing woman. But yeah, it's just so odd to me, some of the things that they did. And then when you look at your own parents and some of the stuff that they carried over, they tried to break the mold a little bit, but they still carried a lot of that old stuff over. So like, just each generation, like kind of like breaking some more cycles of how we communicate with each other. I think that's a big one too, like communication with your children, and like you said, giving them space to talk. And we always, not always, but there was the opportunity for no repercussions conversations where she can talk to me about anything. I said, it don't mean I'm not gonna get upset. It just means that I'm gonna need time to process what you're saying, and we're just gonna talk about it, and there won't be any punishments as a result, but there will be some conversation. And so I think communication is really big, in just talking to your children.
Yeah, I agree, Jeanette. Communication is huge, and I don't want to be persecuted because I came to you and told you something, or I feel like I'm going to be persecuted. So try to create an environment where, Miles and Madison and any other kids. I mean, Jeanette, you and I talked about this, about being in a house where the kids come and hang out. Miles will the front door, he have his hand like this. You're not going to do a mom. Can so-and-so come over? It's like, he knows I'm going to say yes. Come on in here. Yeah, what y'all want to eat? We did that a couple weeks ago. That's just how we do that welcoming kind of environment. I always wanted to be that household, or be that mom or that person that, if you're having something going on, we, come and talk to somebody. Even if I may not like it, I may not be able to accept it initially, but I'm not going to persecute you because you come to me with something. So I think
exactly having that trust. That you can depend on, your basically like your foundation of yourself is with your parent, right? Speaking of creating spaces for young people and children, we want to hear from Maddie and see what Maddie thinks about the whole friendship, mother to daughter or father to daughter. Do you believe that that's possible? Do you feel like you have a friendship with your mom? And it doesn't matter if you do or you don't. There's no right or wrong answer. We just want to know how you feel about the topic.
Yes, I think people can have like a friendship with their parents. I know I have a friendship with my mom and my dad, especially.
Aww.
Yes, so I do think that. And I don't like, I think you can like have friendship and still be respectful and know that, okay, you're still the child and the parent's still the parent, but you can have a nice friendship too.
How important is it for you when it comes to like communicating with your mom to know that, y'all have that level of friendship too, like when you're going through hard times and things like that, or your dad even? It doesn't have to be your mom, because I know some girls are daddy's girls, me. And Maddie, I have an older brother, so I definitely understand the whole mama's boy thing. So, but
you see how far she flipped her head around at me? Oh my goodness. Okay, you can answer Jeanette's question.
But how important is it for you to be able to just communicate with your parents and, you know, when you're going through hard times?
I feel like it's really important because, I just feel like it's really important.
Elaborate?
No, it is.
Want to elaborate?
Point blank, period. There's nothing else needs to be said.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Drop the mic.
That's
Okay.
it. That's it. I got to live with this person. I got to live with this person.
Anything else you want to add? I mean, you already ate today, so I can't not feed you or something.
So I feel like like Ms. Shauna said, because you live with them, well, maybe different for everybody else's situation, but in my situation, I live with them, so it's like either have a communication, have a relationship, or don't. So
yeah.
What about your dad? Like, speak in terms of your dad and sort of that closest there. We're laughing about Bubby, aka Miles, who she says that's my baby boy.
No, I don't say it like that.
Go ahead, talk about that, about with your dad.
Oh yeah,
parent friendship.
I know I'm a daddy's girl. Mine points out. So
beep, beep, beep.
we have a really close relationship because I'm a daddy's girl.
Yeah. Why are you looking at me?
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Your mother loves that. Trust and believe.
Yes.
She loves that bond that you have with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to speak that, say that, and feel that you have a friendship with your parents and the admiration and love and respect that you have for each other, and to be grounded in that, Maddie, is the best space that we want our children to launch off of in this world. We tell you this all the time and it never gets old. We are so proud of who you are. And your parents have did the doggone thing to get you going. And you are what you're gonna be doing in this world is gonna blow everybody's mind. So we are so proud of you. You keep doing what you're doing and keep working on all of those character buildings and relationship skills that you're learning, because what you're learning at home from your parents and your sibling and your lifestyle is how to operate and manage in this world. So you're gaining valuable skills. I call them life skills. They should start at home. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes we have to get them from other people, but that's okay. It doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's good, it's positive, and it's for you. And you, my dear, know thyself. So you know what's good for you. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Now I joke with her a lot. I'm like, oh, she's a daddy's girl. And I'll say, so what did daddy do today? If he gave her $5, I'll give her $5.10. You know, just kind of mess. And you have to do that too. Like, Mom,
I love it.
She'd be embarrassed, like, Mom, it's not like that. And I'm like, yes, it is. You have to have that kind of dialogue too.
Some jokes like, in there.
Mom. I was like, so what y'all do this weekend? Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's all, it's all in fun,
All out of love. All out of love.
There she go again. See?
The girls are definitely Corey is definitely he's the fun parent. Like, not that I'm not fun, but he's the fun parent. I'm the like, Mom, I need money. Mom, I got this project due. Can you buy me this? Like, he's the daddy, play games with me. Daddy, let me see your phone. Like, they don't even ask to see my phone because they are always on his. So much to the point. It's so funny. Yesterday we was playing Uno and 8-year-old. So me and everyone got out the game. It was me and her dad was the last two in the game. And he ended up winning. And so I was the loser yesterday of Uno. And so the 8-year-old comes to me and was like, Mom, you can never beat daddy. I was like, he was in the bottom with me too. Like, y'all act like he was the winner of the whole game. I was like, you know what? Get on my face. I don't even want to talk to you no more.
But your daughter, they love their daddy.
Oh my goodness.
They will cheerlead him from here to Kalamazoo. They love their daddy.
I asked Ryan, I said, are you a daddy's girl or mama's girl? She was like, I'm a daddy's girl. I was like,
Like you were supposed to know, right?
Like, duh, like, why would you even ask me a question like that? Like, I mean, you're all right, but you know.
Get with the program. Are you even paying attention?
Look at her laughing. Maddie is over here cracking up. Oh my goodness. Too funny.
When did you realize she was a daddy's girl, Lynda?
Oh, early on, like really early, like before she was like 2. I knew.
That's how
like,
Kobe.
Wow.
Kobe is
Yeah.
Lynda, you
knew.
often speak about you being a daddy's girl.
Oh yeah, I was a daddy's girl. Mom, if you're listening, you know I love you, but you know,
it is what it is.
But you know, everybody knows I was a daddy's girl. I mean, and I have a sister, so sometimes we would go at it for different sets of attention. It wasn't the same type of attention, but I was a straight daddy's girl. Like just everything. We're just alike. He was very organized. He had his own business. Everything was just like set. I mean, even to the point of like laying our clothes out at night. I mean, I'm so much like him. And I remember my stepmom, Julie, years ago, we had a disagreement about something. And she said, "You're acting just like your father." And I was like, "Yep." And I stretched my clothes out. Because I was like trying to have everything ready, but that's just who I am. I was always daddy's girl. Always will be.
When did you?
So I get like.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna. You had your line of questioning. Go ahead, Jeanette.
Oh gosh. Look, now we're gonna find out who's gonna talk next.
Paper, scissors.
I never knew how to play that game, y'all.
Apparently, Lynda struggles too.
Listen, I'll do the things, but you have to tell me if I won or lost. So I'm always lose because I don't know.
No, I need Shauna to go because she'll lose. She'll forget. She'll be,
I need some blueberries. I think I
got you already. Blueberries.
I think I forgot already.
Okay, so Lynda, when did you realize that you had a friendship with your father?
I probably was a little bit younger than Maddie. I used to always, my father, up until he passed away, would run like track and through the discus for adults. We were always at track meets. He would always take me with him. We were up at Fordham University in New York. We would come here to the Penn Relays in Pennsylvania. We would just do the things. And it was just that kind of like, he would say, "Hey, come on, baby girl, you want to ride with me?" That's what they used to say back. Everybody knows, "We're going to ride with me, baby." Yep, let's go. And I knew that. And we would just always hang out, and like he would show me aspects of business, and he would say, "Hey, when you get older, make sure you do well on your job." I mean, he taught me life skills, like from top to bottom, just about being a person, just about, going after what you want. I mean, I remember the look on his face when I graduated from college, he was just so proud. And that made me feel like, wow, I'm just so proud to be his daughter, because we were so close. And so when he got sick and passed away suddenly, it was devastating. But at the same time, I have those memories. So he passed away when I was 38. So 38 years of just, that time, and thinking about that now, it doesn't seem like a long time. Like, oh my God, I was only 38 when he passed. Crazy. But we did a lot, during that time. And I learned a lot from him. So even as I do get older, I think back to what Julie said, and she's exactly right. Because the older I get, the more I'm like him. And, just the organization, just trying to raise, a household with Miles and Maddie. And that's what I knew. So I think I was actually younger than Maddie. She's 13 now. But I have very early memories of us, traveling together and just, being at these track meets or whatever it was that we did, even in his business too.
Yeah. How, this is for both of you, how does your friendships with your parents, how did it shape how you became or handle being friends with your kids, especially as an adult, right? So especially we have older kids that are adult children, and that dynamic as an adult with their parent, and then your dynamic with your adult children, how was that shaped through your experiences growing up?
That's a great question. I think I'm less rigid than my parents. Even though I think I kept, and they were great parents, but I kind of kept the good parts. And I'm less rigid. I think I give Miles and Maddie a little bit more freedom, I would say. Yeah, and Maddie's doing thumbs up. I think I do. I think I give them a little bit more freedom. and I think we talked about this too, just the freedom to be who they are, like not things not being forced. So Maddie played every sport in the book, to football, to cheerleading, to whatever, to dance, gymnastics. And I know some parents like, you're going to play only this and you're not going to do anything else. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be flexible, you know. Whereas Miles, he did football for a few years, and 3 days before he was supposed to start football in high school, he said, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, okay, we got to pivot now. Then he started doing basketball. So I can see where like some people in my family would have been like, no, you're going to stick with this because this is what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
But I think the number one thing for me is being less rigid, and Maddie's mocking me, being less rigid and just being a little bit more, you know, free flowing.
Yeah, I can feel that, like, as my relationship with Nirvana as an adult. My mom is my confidant. Like, I know that, you know, she keeps my secrets and all these things, but my mom also has 9 sisters. And sisters love to talk to each other. And so there were sometimes I'm like, I'm not telling her this, because if she tell her sisters, no, I can't. Now, I think like when I was younger, I think my mom was more telling all your little kid business to her sisters. Like, do you believe this girl did this? And I can't believe she said that. But then as an adult, I found my mom is more like, you know, this is between us. Like, you know, she doesn't like share a lot of my adult things that happens, which is my same thing with Navon. Like, I try to be her confidant, and like when she tells me things, trying to keep that between us and keep that, because I think that's part of imparting like trust, right? So, Shauna, what about you? How is your transition to adult friendship with your son?
So our transition, I want to say, thank God for Continental Airlines and my husband. Because without those two, I just don't know if our relationship will be where it is when it comes to the friendship portion of the strength of it. There was always a friendship that I tried to, you know, instill with him, but there were times growing up where I wasn't sure if he was mature enough to handle that with me, just based on some of the things that he would do. So when I became a flight attendant for Continental Airlines, he was in the middle of his teen years. And so lots of things change with young men, and they want a little less of nurturing and being babied and a little more of, you know, male energy around, and, you know, being able to be shaped into the man that they wish and want to be. So Continental Airlines kept me away at a time where my husband and my son were one-on-one for a few years at the most important time of his life. And it also helped me to not be so smothering, so helicopter, or turn into like a helicopter parent, and hovering over him. Because Terrence is his name. We call him TJ. He's a junior. He doesn't do well with being smothered. Like, that's not his thing. He's he was a free-spirited baby from birth. And he does everything in his power to make sure that he keeps himself into that space, because that's his zone of genius and he knows it. So those two things helped me tremendously when it came down to the friendship portion. So yeah. Now with my parents, one of the things that I can say that I loved about my parents, so I grew up in a I would call it like multi-generational lifestyle, as I was afforded the fortunate ability to have my grandparents extremely instrumental in our lives, living under the same roof, sharing abundance of time with each other at critical times growing up. So because of that, the friendship portion, like with our mom, so my mom is what you would consider a salsera. So she can salsa her tail off. She's won awards, she's done dance competitions and things like that. So we love going out salsa dancing, because in that environment, we are all able to strongly be friends, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in all environments, sometimes it doesn't work out with your parent. Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, now you're being mom at breakfast. Where were you at the other place, right? And then with my dad, we have memories of fishing with him because he's a nature boy, nature guy. He's a taxidermist. And so we have a lot of memories of being still by the water and, having talks and stuff like that. So that's my experience in the parent world. I would say though, my parents, they did love being friends with their children. And sometimes we have to be careful how much we want to be friends with our kids because sometimes the lines can get blurred. And I can see that sometimes happening with my sister and I, where it was kind of blurry. So I wanted to try to kind of clear up those lines when I raised my son so that he really knew the boundaries between the friendship and me being his parent.
Yeah. I think that's important. Something that you mentioned about like just like when you were a flight attendant, just like the whole like backing off and kind of it's like I think like when you look at like your like non-children friendships and how you handle those relationships, and sometimes like when your friends are going through things, they don't need you in their face, like, what do you need me to do? I need to do this and we should do this and you should do that. And sometimes we know to just like back off and just let our friends have their space and say, look, I'm here if you need me, and just giving them space to come to you. And I think that that's really important, even with your kids, to be able to back off and let someone else like step in, because like even our friendships, we know that all of our different friendships have served different purposes in our lives for us too. So your purpose as their friend can be totally, something totally different. For, Navon and I, it's more of, I'm her consultant. She comes, I give her advice. You can take it or leave
love it.
You're an adult. And then a lot of times she doesn't want to hear it. And I'm like, that's fine. It's to give you the hard truth, because that's what my dad did. He always gave. So me, my dad, my mom, we have different friendships, right? So my dad is the guy that you go to when you just want someone just to be straight up with you. You need some hard truth. And even if it's him saying, you need some rest, you look like you're tired, I'm like, thank you, Daddy. I know I'm going to get some rest. Or just, that was really stupid. Why would you think that that's what you should do? Like he's that person. And you need friends like that. I have personal friends in my life that I know when I need to hear some hard truth, they're the ones that's going to keep it real with me. But then my mom is like, we have like creative things in common. We're both crafty. We both love to talk about journals and paper and pens and art supplies, and and then we're women, so then we have that. So that as a woman who's married and being able to talk to my mom about certain aspects of marriage with her, and her to be real with me, because a lot of people go through their life not knowing, like their parents don't tell them the truth about marriage, and so then they get into these relationships with these false beliefs of what marriage is or should be. And so that we have that like girlfriend relationship. And like I remember my brother got into it one time about something, and he was like, no, he said, you just taking mommy's side. And I was like, I'm not just taking her side. I understand, even if she's wrong, I understand her as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a different,
the rationale behind it.
Yeah, the rationale behind it. And we can have a conversation about it. And sometimes people just need you to have those conversations with them, even if they know they're wrong. Like they just need you to have those conversations with them to understand like what they're thinking, their train of thought was. So we just have different friendship styles. And so back to my original point of just like backing off and just letting them know that you're there for them, I think is really, really huge sometimes. And letting other people come in and be a friend to them and guide and give them guidance as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to the friendship piece to this, ladies. So, and when the Power of Love Energy comes out, I speak a lot about this in my book, about the importance of friendship being the basis of almost any relationship that you're in. Mm-hmm. And of course, not right away when your children are born, but eventually. But even with your husband, significant other, it goes a long way if there's some type of friendship that was in there, involved, foundational, or, that it really helps a lot when, I don't know, challenges may come or arise. Sometimes, My husband was the hard truth man. So I lived with that. I had to deal with hard truth 24/7. If you talk to Lorenzo, he was going to shoot it to you straight. He was going to candy coat it. He kept it short and sweet, and it was always out of love. So I understand that mindset. I love that about your dad, and I love that you can go to him for that. So knowing the differences in the types of friendships that you have in relationships with people also facilitates and helps foster positive relationships, including your children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So how do you?
I definitely agree with that.
Go ahead, Lynda.
Excuse me?
No, I was gonna ask the same question. How is that built?
Yeah, so like when you have kids that are kind of more removed, right? And they're not like, you know, we are there's a lot of people out here who have kids that just want to be in their room. They don't want to talk to their parents. They feel like their parents are just dumb. They don't understand. They don't get it. They're old. Right, Maddie? Mom, they just so old. They don't understand, you know.
It goes back to what you said earlier. It's meeting them where they're at. Mm-hmm. So, and knowing what their interests are. If you know what lights your child up, plan something that's around that. You have to baby step into their world, because now they've created their own world, you know, at some point. Now you're entering in their world. So you have to baby step that. You got to know what they like, what lights them up, set some things up. Like last night, I think you mentioned, or whenever you played Uno with your family, you know, everyone put everything down and came together as a group. And when you do that, you learn so much about each other. You learn how each other ticks. Even like sitting down watching movies. Lynda, you're always having movie night with Maddie, and you get an opportunity to have discussions on your interests, your likes, your dislikes. Now you place yourself in a situation with your child in which they can be a little bit more free flowing than that actual hard times, or depending on the environment. So you have to be, timing is everything. And you have to go after wanting that. If you want to build a great relationship with your child, you have to be the one to foster and to facilitate that. But you have to meet them where they're at, because if your child feels like you're pushing them into something they don't want to get into, or you push them into a corner, they're going to shut down, or they're just not going to actively be seeking you out as, you know, the friend or the person that you would want them to seek out. And you have to give them respect and space. And if they don't want that, all they're telling you is that it's just something they don't need at this moment in time, you know? And we have to learn how to back up. It's so hard. It's so hard to back up. I had a very, very hard time with that. My husband trained me well. And I am continuing those skills that he taught me to this day with my son. I can hear his voice anytime I want to call my son or say something or tell him what I think he should do. I hear my son say, he's a man, he's fully grown, he's capable of making his own decisions. Wait till he brings it to you. Don't give any advice unless he asks. And so I've been trained early on to, you know, foster that part, because teenage was my hardest experience as a mom, having a teenager.
Yeah, it takes patience. Lynda, I know you've mentioned about Miles being more reserved, right? And so you can't really just force yourself on them. It's kind of like you just got to sit there and like, I'm just gonna sit here quietly with you. Like, how has that been for you? Because Maddie is a lot more outgoing.
Yes.
So how did you, like, I guess, was it the sports only? Like, what was some other ways that you kind of broke into that with him, since he's a little bit more reserved and not as chatty?
Yeah, I think, just probably the sports. That was like the first thing, kind of my first in. And second, I think all of y'all could probably guess what I'm gonna say next. Food. Yes. Miles and I love some food, like just restaurants, and just whether it's something really good. Miles is kind of like me when it comes to like the food piece. So like, yes. So he'll pick something a little bit more upscale over like something like fast food. So, for me, that's like everything. So I think that bond and just sitting with him, just being with him. I have noticed, with him being away at college. So he's done 2 years of college. He's going into his junior year. With him now being home, I notice he's a lot more talkative. Like he's opened up a lot. And just him going away, he went 2 hours away, but I remember the coaches saying, you know, because he plays basketball, coach, he's going to open up. I'm like, no, y'all don't know him. He's quiet. He's this. He still is himself. But I noticed just with him coming home this year, the end of his sophomore year, we talk a lot more. I think because I had to like let go and not be the helicopter mom. Like, what's below a helicopter? I talk to y'all. Oh, a drone. We were joking about, I'm the drone mom. So drone mom. So I'm like, so I had to like kind of, Maddie, look at Maddie's face. I had to kind of like back up, you know, a little bit and then let him come to me. That was hard, Shauna. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Very, very hard to do because I'm very hands-on. So it was nothing for me to have him and like 15 of his friends, you know, football helmets in the back of the car on any given day of the week. And then when he went to college, it just stopped abruptly. So that part was hard to let go. So I think connecting with him as he's older, he's 20 now. So connecting with him in those different ways, maybe asking a question or two, and then maybe following up with, ooh, they have a new Cajun pasta at so-and-so. And then that's how I get him. He's like, oh, I mean, I got him the other night. I was like, so you having company? Do y'all want some food? And he actually thanked me. He said, Mom, Dad, thank you so much for the food last night. So then we were able to have a whole conversation just around him going to the gym and him continuing his workouts and stuff like that. So with Maddie, the wind blows and we start talking about stuff like we did a Target run at 9 o'clock last night. That was nothing. So
it's fun. I have a question for Maddie about that. Maddie, how do you feel about when you do different activities with your parents? I know you've been golfing lately with your dad and with your mom. There's a list of activities that you do together. Do you feel like when you're in those activities or the environment is different, it's easier to connect with your mom or dad? How does that feel for you?
Yes, I feel like it's a little bit different than just like sitting around at the house being boring. It's more fun to do, and it's a lot like because I like to start like good conversations and you're actually doing something active, and I like to be very active. I don't like to sit still at all, so it's very fun.
She doesn't like to sit still at all. Just ask my right foot as we walk through the park.
She stood up about 5 times since we started.
Yes.
I understand that you're definitely part of the Heart of Chat because you know your mom and you know Jeanette and I, and we have a hard time sitting still too. Mm-hmm. So
love to be on the go, you know. So
Maddie, what advice do you have for kids that would like to have a better relationship or friendship with their parents? Like what are some things that they can do to kind of cultivate?
So like it'll probably take time and try to, and also if you want something like maybe current, maybe try to like say, oh, hey, one day can we do this? And like pitch an idea like, hey, let's go karting one day because it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. And eventually after a while, you guys would want to do like lots of stuff together because you guys enjoyed the time together. So.
That's awesome. So true.
And I would say parents be open too, because like be open to getting on the rides at the music park. As scared as you might be, you know, because a couple of rides, I was like, am I really going to do this? But it, you know, I see how it made her so happy and just, you know, being open to do it. It's a lot of walking, so get ready, y'all. But, you know, outside of that, you know, having that sort of, you know, that sort of balance and, you know, them being happy, seeing them happy, but also knowing that it makes you happy inside as a parent to see them grow and foster and continue to foster those relationships. So the relationship that you have, you know, with your child. So I would add to that.
I think for me, because I'm like always busy, always doing something, always on the go, always running around. Like a lot of times I miss out on like some of the like game nights and stuff like that. Or so like trying to making it a point to sit down and do movie night with the kids is important. And even yesterday with game night, we went and bought like a new game. And then we actually bought 2 new games, and then we played some games that we already had, but I really had to like make a conscious decision. Like put your phone down. Like there's nothing else you need to do. And a lot of times the kids don't really want a whole lot of your time. Like they just need that little fix. Like I think we played 4 games and we played them a couple times. It might have went a little over an hour, like an hour and a half. And then like our oldest, he wasn't here to play games with us, but he went and picked up cookies for everybody. And we had cookies and played games and it was fun. And then everybody went off in their own world and they was like, all right, I got my fill of you. I'm good. Like, so just understanding like parents, like even when like we feel like, oh, I have so much to do, like I don't have time to just sit for a second. You do. And they really just need that quick fix. They don't need a whole lot of your time. And because guaranteed when they get older, you're going to be wanting some of their time and they're going to be like, I'm busy, mom. I got stuff to do. You're like, oh.
Yes. I'm playing my game. I'm in the middle of a live game. I'm like, can you come up just for a second? That smiles. I'm in the middle of a live. It's on.
Oh my goodness.
Friends are on. And I even walk up to him. I'm like, did you just mute me? Because I went down in the basement. He had the control. I'm like, you muted me.
Yeah, every time on his PS5, every time you see like the orange light, that means he muted you. He does that to me.
Thank you, Maddie, for that clarification for our hearts out there.
Secrets got out.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I was muted. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can't let people you talking in the background. Look.
I know. I'm getting better. It takes some inner work.
I understand that.
This is awesome.
Shauna, any final tips or advice you want to give to parents out there and children?
I would strongly encourage to give your child space and observe them.
Yeah.
Because all the answers are right there. You just have to step back.
Mm-hmm. It's just and being patient. Like it's just that patience. Like you can't do that when you meet people. You like you ever meet somebody that just like, oh, you're gonna be my friend and we're gonna do all these things. No, let this thing happen organically and naturally.
Exactly.
Like you cannot force friendship and your real life and with your home life with your kids and spouses. Like it, you have to let stuff happen organically. And like you said, Shauna, being patient and just observing and, just, be patient.
Yes. Love that point. Thank you from our childhood specialist here, Shauna. We love it.
De nada.
Yes. Well, this was great, Maddie. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Maddie.
This is awesome. Got to get to chat with you.
So cute.
Well, Shauna, do you want to tell everyone where to find us, how they can connect and continue to connect with us?
Yes, but first, let's talk about your shirt.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Ignite Your Fuego. If you're interested, we have some apparel on the website. We still have our mugs. We have our journals on our website. So you definitely can find us on our website. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on IG, Twitter, Facebook. I think that's it. I think all the major platforms to listen to us on your podcast. Yes. And please come back next week and every week, everybody, because it's going to be Fuego, baby. Come back.
Come back. Yes. Thank you, lady.
Bye, lady.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.